People who work for the super wealthy, what stuff have you seen?
1. My sister is a butler for a super wealthy family. She told me a couple crazy stories. For example, this one time the family once got this super expensive rare breed cat, and a few months later, the wife tells my sister she can feel the cat isn't quite happy in their house. So she asks her to take their private jet to drop the cat off in their mansion on Lake Como, Italy, so it could spend a holiday in the sun. That same woman would then sometimes berate my sister for buying soap and plastic dispensers instead of just soap bars because it's bad for our planet. They bought this insanely huge, super luxurious cabin in one of the most expensive ski stations in Switzerland. They realized the cabin, more like a mansion really, right next to theirs, was for sale, and then bought that one as well, just so they wouldn't have close neighbors. 2. Years ago, I used to work carpentry, mainly doing sunrooms. One of our clients was a brain surgeon, who was married to a lawyer, and they subsequently had a massive house on a large property. Their son was also some type of neuroscientist, and with his parents' permission, had yet another massive house built on this same property. Problem is, city ordinances prohibit 2 separate livable dwellings on the same property. Mind you, these houses were about a quarter-mile away from each other. So, to comply with the ordinances, they build a fucking wall between the houses. And this isn't just some dinky picket fence type of wall. It's a massive medieval-style wall that has round towers with merlins and crenels, a gym midway through, and a massive $750,000 plus all-glass sunroom, all the while being wide enough to have room for a walking path and a road for golf carts. Inside the wall. The city ordinance said only one livable dwelling can be on their property, so they just made a massive hallway between their houses. 3. My brother worked on a super yacht, quit the day he saw a 14-year-old take a massive shit on the deck and tell him to clean it up. 4. Not the craziest thing, but wild to me. I was working for a kind of well-off family during a summer. I went inside to get a drink and the mom was cleaning the kitchen, putting things away and such. She picks up a MacBook and says to me, "Hey, do you want this? No one uses it. Got a brand new MacBook for college." 5. You weren't allowed to hand him or his family things that have already been opened or used. That bottle of sunscreen that was only used once? Don't even think about it. Everything has to be new. There was a desk that had bottles and bottles of just sunscreen that they only used once and never again. The interesting thing was, this guy owned an eco-resort. 6. Worked for the son of the CEO of Rolls-Royce America. He would routinely charge the company when he went to the brothels, and his wife? She was the company accountant. 7. I work with some very wealthy people. I work in non-profit. Wealthy people who claim to donate hundreds of thousands of dollars a year, or even millions of dollars a year, do so in deceptive ways. For example, this very rich person in a large city in the USA has a big yacht. He decides that if he would rent his yacht to someone, he would charge $5,000 per hour. No sane person would ever actually pay him $5,000 per hour for his stupid yacht. So, he will rent his yacht to a non-profit organization for 5 hours at a total of $25,000 so that they can host an event on his yacht. He will then write up an invoice and gift that 5 hours, $25,000 to that non-profit organization. He can then take that $25,000 and get a write-off on his taxes. This same guy will hang out at the non-profit organization's party and drink their wine, eat their catered food, and he will get someone to captain the ship for free by telling the guy, "Hey, it's for a non-profit. Don't you want to help them?" $25,000, free dinner, free booze, and a big round of applause for his generosity. He can also avoid an annual tax fee from that city by donating boat time to politicians of that city. Want to host your city worker party on my boat? No problem. Write me a law that says the annual boat docking tax for my huge yacht is waived if I donate X hours a year of yacht time to your city workers or non-profit organizations. These laws are slipped into omnibus packages, and they even look good at first glance. The politician can say, "See? We make the rich pay their fair share in our city," while the yacht owner is taking that check right to the bank. They do this for yachts, property, jets, etc. Then they can go around saying they donate so much money to all these non-profits. They can charge rates nobody in their right mind would ever pay because the IRS will pay them on tax credits. And none of this is illegal. 8. I don't know why I love this story, but I always bring it up to show how the real wealthy treat money. My father was the private chef for a billionaire. He's famous-ish and would travel with him on his private jet, make him anything he wanted, etc. The billionaire was a very, very genuine man and was very good to my father and us as his family. That being said, one story always stood out. They had just arrived at his house X in beautiful location Y, and he wanted a smoothie. My dad hadn't been in that kitchen in quite a while, and so he couldn't find the blender. The man told him to go out and buy one, high-end of course, and make a smoothie. He does this, makes smoothie, boss is happy, and while cleaning he found 10 blenders in obscure spots likely done by the cleaning crew. It just to me puts things in perspective at a real level. This man had thousands of dollars worth of pristine high-end blenders. I probably wouldn't even entertain buying because it'd be too much for me to justify for a blender, and could care less. I don't know. But to me, it was a very real example of wealth at a human level, if that makes sense. 9. I lived in with a billionaire woman. She just needed someone around the house, I think. There were no issues, and we got along fine. The most absurd was, when I was in grad school looking to do a study abroad for 6 weeks, and she chartered a flight for me. Just me. On a private jet. To. From. As well as an allowance for me to buy as much as I could while I was in Tunisia and Spain for her, and to have couriers ship it to her. She arranged a person to be with me. Just because she doesn't like travel. The other graduate students looked at me when I spent $38,000 on 2 champagne flutes, and so on. Let me be clear, I was not rich at all, but the experience was eye-opening.